Hello everyone, it is Melody and I am coming at you live from, you already know. So today I am coming at you with a story time. My last story time was a while ago. I told you about the time I got into a stranger's car here in Korea, and my story time today is an experience that also happened to me here in Korea, but it doesn't have to do with my experience with a Korean. It was actually another American and this guy that I met, and it ended up being that he was engaged and he had a newborn. So yeah, if you'd like to hear that story, keep on watching and let's just go ahead and get right into it. Now, to set the scene of this story, I had been in Korea around 3 months. So like exploring and going to cities and everything like that, that is something that's all still new to me. One weekend I am in Seoul with my friends. We walk into this bar and I see this guy. He sees me, I'm going up to get a drink. He comes up and talks to me. He tells me that he's traveling throughout Korea, that he is from somewhere in America. I want to say somewhere in the South, because I was like, oh, it's kind of near Florida. And he says that he came from Japan. He was like traveling around there. Now he's in Korea. The next stop will be somewhere else. I don't remember. So my first thought is like, wow, here is this tall, beautiful black man, and he's like traveling internationally. That is so cool. I never met anyone like that in the States. So I was just like, from the jump, like, wow, this is just really, really cool. So we exchanged information, and my first little like, this is interesting, was the fact that he had a Kakao account. Now, Kakao is like the main messaging, the way of messaging here in Korea. No one really actually sends text messages. Everyone has Kakao and they message on this app. So he has a Kakao account, and usually, unless you live here in Korea, there's really no point for you to get a Kakao account because you're just here temporarily, you know? So that was my first like, okay, whatever. The following week we're messaging. He tells me, oh, I lied to you. Actually, I'm not traveling. I live here in Korea. I'm in the military. And I'm like, oh, okay, why did you lie? And he was explaining to me that when you're in the military, you have a certain curfew that you have to get back to your base by, and they have other people like that go out to these clubs and bars and kind of patrol in a way, looking for military people that are not back at a certain time. So he said that to like protect himself from getting in trouble. And I was like, okay, you know, okay, I guess so, blah, blah, blah. So we're chatting and he seems to be really cool. We're around the same age. He is here in Korea for like a year-ish. I'm thinking, let's get to know each other. And he also was like reaching out, being really consistent about it. So it seems like we're both on the same page of like wanting to get to know each other. He would do this thing where he was reading books about like awareness and like watching your thoughts and like manifesting. And like I mentioned in my How Korea's Changed Me video, at the time, like when I first got to Korea, I was really into metaphysical things like that. So him messaging me these like little quotes that he would read in his books and like send to me, it really was like, oh my god, like you are speaking my language right now. Like I was really attracted to him for that, thinking like, I like how his mind works. I like the way he thinks. Now for me, one thing that I like to do when I meet someone is, what is your Instagram? I feel like Instagram can tell you so much about a person, especially a guy, by what they post. Do they post, are they like a selfie kind of guy? Are they like a meme kind of guy? Are they someone who doesn't really go on Instagram? It just tells you, I think Instagram gives you a little glimpse into the character of a man. So that's one of the first things I do, is I ask him for his Instagram. And this is where it starts to get fishy. So I ask him for his Instagram and he sends me this account where he has like 20 followers and he has like 5 pictures, and he was like, oh, this is my new Instagram. When I broke up with my girlfriend before I left, she made me delete my Instagram because all these girls were messaging me, but now she's my ex, so you know, it doesn't matter anymore. But that's why my page is so you know, few followers and like really low whatever. That's why it looks crazy. So he told me that story, and like something just doesn't sit right with me. That doesn't sound like the truth. So I take note of it, but I don't let that stop me from continuing to get to know this person. Now we're continuing to message, and over the span of like a month, we had made plans to meet up back in Seoul. So we had a long weekend. I think I had Monday off. So my friend and I, we went to Seoul to like explore because you know, we're new to Korea still and she hadn't seen Seoul yet. So we went to Seoul for the long weekend. And I told him that I was going, and so he made plans to like go with his friends to the Hongdae area, and then I made plans to meet him there so we could hang out and, you know, go out together and just have fun. So we end up going to the bar, we meet him there, and he ends up being just as cool as I remember, and we're having good conversation, and we just had like a really fun night. Now, I will note that I want to say at least twice throughout the night, he was kind of like, hey, so are we gonna go back to your place? And I'm like, no. I feel like I gave him no context throughout any of our conversations that that was going to happen. No, like it's not my lifestyle. No. So he said that, and it kind of threw me off, but we're still having a good night, and I was like a little bit you know, soju influenced. So I didn't like make a huge deal about it, but I was just like, no. So at the end of the night, he's walking us home. Him and his friend are walking me and my friend back to our back to our hostel. So we get back to the hostel, we say bye, we go upstairs, me and my friend, we go upstairs and they leave, and I was like, wow, okay, like we had a really good night and everything like that. Okay, like I think, you know, this might be something. And we messaged a little bit, but it wasn't as much as it was before we met up that night. And after that, I kind of realized that in his eyes, I think he kind of thought, no, I think for sure he thought that if he comes and meets up and we go out, like we can go back to my place and like do something. But that was never on my radar. So of course that didn't happen, and I think that he expected that to happen, so his expectations weren't met. And then on my end, I'm thinking like, okay, this might be able to be something. So my expectations weren't met either. So that was that. Our conversations after that kind of started trickling off, and you know, as many like FaceTiming and like talking on the phone and stuff. He would still kind of send me those quotes, but everything started to trickle off. So around my birthday, which is in June, so at this point it'd been maybe 2.5 months since we first met, and then a month since we like met up that one time in Seoul and went out. He messages me out of the blue and he was like, hey. And I was like, oh, hey, how are you doing? And sometimes we would talk about music. So he said something about music and I replied something else. And he was like, well, I have something I want to tell you. I was like, okay, what is it? And he said, I didn't think that we would become such good friends, but I think that you are someone that I will be friends with for life. So I want to tell you the truth. And I'm like, why do you think we're gonna be friends for life? Like, we barely talk. What is your, like, what? Okay, I wanna know what this juicy information is that he's about to tell me. So I'm like, oh, true? Okay, what is it? He just sends me an Instagram link, like an Instagram URL. I click it, it's his real Instagram. Now this is what I figured all along, that he had a real Instagram, and that whole story was BS, and it turns out I was right. I opened his real Instagram. He has around 300 followers, which is about right, you know, about 100 pictures, which seems normal, you know. I'm going through, oh, I see a girl. Oh, I see a ring. Oh, I see a newborn baby. I see dedication posts, woman crush Wednesdays to this girl with this ring, talking about, I love you, you are the mother of my child, blah, blah, blah. I'm looking at the dates, y'all. I'm looking at the dates. He posted these pictures of this new baby around the date that we met up in Seoul and went out, and he's asking me like, oh, are we gonna go back to your place? And I'm like, swerve. That timing is around the time his baby was being born into this world. So at the time, his fiance is in America giving birth to his baby. He is here in another country trying to get with another girl. And I'm just like, wow. My spidey senses, were right. Ladies, if you feel like something is off, 99.9% of the time you are correct, and don't even engage in the situation. So that was the first takeaway that I had, was like, wow, my spidey senses were correct. I thought about messaging the fiance and telling her what happened, but then at the same time I was like, I am not here to break up any home. It's not like something that we had was that serious. It's not like anything happened, so I'm not gonna go ahead and take it there. I thought about it, but I don't want to even insert myself into that messy situation. So I just messaged him back and I was like, wow, thank you for telling me. I don't respect you as a person, so I have no reason to keep you in my life, but I wish you the best with your fiance and your newborn daughter. And I leave it at that. Yeah, y'all, that was my experience with this military man who ended up having a fiance and a newborn baby back in the States. So that, after that experience, I found out, just in general, I learned the lesson of, here in Korea, if you meet a military man, any military, Army, Navy, do they have Navy here? Army, Navy, Air Force, just generally steer clear. They typically, I don't want to say typically like every single one, but I will say that a lot of the military guys that you meet here, one, are just looking to hook up. Two, if they do seem like they want something more serious, they often lead these like double lives because they're here in like another country for maybe a year or two. So they like start and develop some relationship, but they also have someone back home and they like lead these double lives. So yeah, military guys are not, military guys in Korea, I'm not gonna like put down military guys, but let me say, like, of course, you know, thank you for your service. I appreciate you keeping us safe and doing your duty and all that stuff, but I don't want to date you, and I don't suggest you date them if you are in Korea, and that's just my honest opinion. All right, guys, so that's going to be it for me. That is the end of my story and my takeaways of this crazy situation. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you would like to see more story times from me, definitely give this video a thumbs up so I know. If you have any questions about, you know, the things I was talking about, leave me a comment and I will be sure to get back to you. And if you haven't subscribed already, be sure to for more videos. And I will see you guys in my next one. I will see you later. 안녕히 계세요. Peace.